Welcome to another Nature's Glory Cabin Off-Road. Today we're back in the Backcountry Byway with the Ohio River four-wheelers doing the spring run. This is March the 9th, 2024, and we're going to pick up here. This is an easy ride. We're going to be starting out at the rest area in Slade, right off exit 33 on the Mountain Parkway. Then we're going to be going on down to hit Fixer Lico, where we're going to go down 11 and we're going to turn on 1036. Get the trail entrance, and we're going to do Fixer Lico Larison, Cave Fort Bald Rock intersection. We're going to pass that, and then we're going to go on out New Virginia Ridge Road and to the park out on Highway 52 for lunch, and then we'll do part 2 after that. This is part 1. So here we are leaving out of the exit. We're going to be moving pretty fast, skipping a lot of the boring stuff, I hope, and showing some of the better stuff. It rained pretty much all day, so the water turned out to be pretty high in a lot of spots. Good ride, had quite a few people. We're going to turn here on to 1036 here right quick. And you see a little sign there. We're going to turn on in here, go back here a little ways. And this little wiring building here, the next thing on the left is the entrance to Fixer Lico. It is not marked, so you'll need to know it's there if you weren't aware. Like I said, the water's kind of higher than usual. I left a lot more in here than usual because there's quite a bit of water to see because it's been raining. I know folks are kind of maybe getting tired of seeing the same ones over and over again, but the thing you need to understand is trails change. And this is a good way to see it. If you watch from one video to the next, you can see how things change. We're coming up on a culvert here when we go down this hill, and this is washed out over time. See a little wash right there? That's not much. But the culvert, and there's a couple of rocks that have been more exposed and require a little bit more attention as you cross them. They'll be coming up here in a second. Just folks in front of me are just getting ready to go over them. Depending on how much weather, some of these washouts can get pretty bad at a moment's notice. Last time you were here, it might have been okay, and the next time, you may have to worry about how to traverse it. And hopefully you can see some of it here as we go over. You can see it's a little rockier. We went over that pretty fast, sped up. Suffice it to say, this hill can be pretty slick too. Sometimes as you go down it, your back end's going to want to swing around a little bit. And here's that going over from behind. You can kind of see it a little more there. It's rockier. And again, if you start to, rear end starts to slide a little bit, just kind of kick it up another gear maybe and go a little bit faster and straighten it out, and you'll be fine. It's not steep enough that you can't do it going down. This is the first little drop-off mud hole. Depending on your clearance, you might have a little trouble here. You might get your rear hitch into the mud there. Some people scrape. Or you can go off to the driver's side a little bit, go a little off camber and give yourself just a little bit more. It's starting to wash out a little bit there, so it could be different. Now we're going to go down the flexi spot here. It has gotten to where it's a little smoother for your left wheel once you get into it. The right side still stays a little bumpier, but you're off camber going down through here. Bypass to the left. The bypass comes in down at the end down there with a pretty good rut, and it'll throw you a little off camber as you come out of it. And again, you can see the water here is already up a little bit more than usual. We'll show a little more as we go through here, probably some more rear camera action so you can see it a little better. And you see there's a water spot there on the lens, I guess, from the rain. And this is coming down Fixer Lico from behind. Video doesn't really do it justice. It's hard to really see the ruts and the terrain. Cameras tend to flatten it out a little bit, a lot in some cases. Again, this spot here is usually much lower in water, but today it's been raining, I said, a lot, so we'll see more rain than usual, more water in spots. Again, I sped this up. Obviously we weren't driving this fast. As you can see, the water's up a little bit there. Compare this to other videos, same spot, the water's a little higher today. The rain in this part of the country drains out pretty fast. All it's got to do is stop for a couple of days and it'll run out pretty quick. The only exception to that rule would be if a beaver happened to have dammed up someplace, and then that would keep the water up longer. And I don't believe we have any of those right now in this area. Water after water through here. It's a lot of it. A lot of times we have a little more gaps in between. You can see it's about halfway up at 33. A little higher than most. Most of the time it's only up barely over the bottom part of the tire. So makes for a fun day. More stuff to do and look at. Shame it rained all day, but you know, hey, it was a good day. Any day on the trail is better than a day anywhere else, right? And we're gonna zip on through here, and there's another little spot here of water. Once we get out this other side, I think we have one more mud puddle that it's actually a mud puddle next to one of those old pumps, and sometimes it's relatively deep. Now, so many of us splashing through it, it may not be. This is the deepest spot right through here. You see how we fall into that little hole, and then you come right back out of it. If you don't know it's there, it's about 2/3 of the way down through there, and just ease into it, and or it'll kind of surprise you when it drops because you obviously can't see it. Now we're coming up on the one that can be deeper. Like a lot of us have been splashing this, so it may not be terribly deep today. It's up to his bottom bumper in front of me. Now that's more of a stock 4Runner style vehicle. I'm not sure exactly what it is. And you can see it's about halfway up at 33. I think we got a rear view of this as well coming up. All the way back to the other water creek. I don't know if it's crossing. I guess we're driving down the creek. Not technically a crossing if you're driving down it, right? And you'll see me drop into that spot, and then you'll see the guy behind me hit it also. Right at that tree, I believe. There it is. That tree is a pretty good marker for it. That tree hadn't always been there. That's a relatively new addition. I say new. It's been there a while, but it hadn't always been. See the water rushing pretty good there. And here's that mud hole, I believe. You should see that pump off over in the woods a little bit. There it is. And it's a little deeper. See, it's up above his bumper there in a spot or two. Now we're going to cruise on down here. We cut a lot of the other boring stuff out. I left this in because this is the sharp turn. That's Zachariah Creek Lake at the top of the hill, and you can go look at it if you want to, but you make a sharp right around this little hairpin, and then we keep right on going. And at this point, it's nothing much but pretty much just a gravel road. We're going to go on down here and I'll cut off a little to the right, down a little gravel shortcut, and connect on down here to Larison. I call it Fixer Larison. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Mostly Larison, I think. That road to the left, blacktop, goes up to it, and you can turn down if you want to. This is just a little more convenient. And we'll switch back into high range here, and we're going to go quite a ways down through here, pretty smooth, until we get to the intersection of Cave Fork Bald Rock. There's a lot of pretty scenery. I left some of this in here because you can see the water up there to the left. But again, this is March 9th, 2024. Spring has not sprung yet. Maybe somebody from the club that remembers how many people were in this could make a comment and let us know how many people are actually riding that day. I'm just a rider on this. I'm not leading anything. There you can see the water's up pretty good on the left. We got a lot of spots. I left a lot in here because of how high the water was. This is unusual. You don't see it this way very often. Normally I would have cut most of this out, but again, the scenery I thought was worthy of the video. Really high there. See, that's almost up to the road even. That's unusual. It won't be long now. We'll be down to where the intersection of Bald Rock, Cave Fork, and this road, Larison, Fixer Larison, whatever I refer to it as. On the map it has varying names from Larison to Fixer, so I just call it Fixer Lico Larison because it continues off of Fixer. There's a couple of houses down here right at the end. That's kind of a marker to know where you're at. But this here is not a house. This is a, to the left there is because No Man's Overlook up on the hill there. You can't get all the way up to it, but it's got a really nice rock face area. Sometimes you can get up there, sometimes it's roped off, so it's your own risk. It's a oil company property. And here we are coming up on the last couple of houses. This is the intersection of Fixer, Cave Fork, and Bald Rock straight ahead. And we're going to go straight ahead onto Bald Rock for a little while. We're not going to go all the way out Bald Rock here. We'll pick that up in part 2 coming the other direction. But again, look at the water, how high it is. Not to mention rain on the windshield. It rained most of the day. Look how high the water is here up to the road. This is unusual. I hope you enjoy this. I know it's long, but again, look at that water. I mean, that's just something you don't see every day. There it is coming into the road a little bit. Sometimes nature is just awesome. And sometimes it can bite you, so you should be prepared. Down here in this area is not too bad. It's usually pretty smooth, not a lot of surprises, but other places can fool you even more if you're not familiar. I do this a lot. You've obviously seen a bunch of the videos that I do. Take a lot of new folks down here because it's a good spot to go with new people. And again, there's the water high. There's a little wash there to the left. You don't know how often a wash can turn into something with a little weather. I wouldn't do any trail at least the first time. Wouldn't do it by yourself. You should always go with someone who can point out the pitfalls and things that can change. Now we're coming up on where we're going to fork onto New Virginia Ridge Road. We're going to go to the right here. There's a pump here in the middle, and you can see a picture here of some vehicles in front of me. A little better to look at it. We're going to fork off to the right, and go on New Virginia Ridge Road. The left there is continuation of Bald Rock. Again, like I said, we're going to come back that direction on the other part, on part 2. So we're going to do New Virginia Ridge Road. And again, you can see the creek down below. Hopefully, if you do make it up in this area, this will help you recognize things and give you a little leg up on somebody else that hasn't seen it, even if you haven't ridden it yet. Look how high the water is there. For comparison, go back to an older video and look at that water. There have been washouts on this trail, so you kind of got to pay attention when you got fixed by the DBBB. And here we're going to go, at this little spot here, we're going to go left to stay on New Virginia Ridge Road. Straight ahead is Sinking Creek, a much rougher, more technical trail. So sometimes it looks like you should go straight, but not if you're not equipped for it. The water's fairly deep here. Again, this is usually pretty low. So this is very interesting to see on this day. And we'll show some of this from a couple different perspectives. There's a little bit of a high spot here in the middle where it's been built up so you can cross the creek. But on either side it's deeper, so I'd make sure I stay toward the middle. And we'll show that from the rear. You'll show a little drop off there. And then you'll want to go across the creek to stay on New Virginia. I do have Sinking Creek videos out there if you're interested in Sinking Creek. I mention that same spot and show it to you so you can see the difference. See how deep the water was on that Jeep behind me. It looked like it might have been above his bumper. And this is just a mud hole on the other side. Most, if not all, the mud holes in this part of the country have solid bottoms, so you don't have to worry a whole lot about them. I wouldn't go anywhere if you haven't been before and trust a mud hole unless you're sure. And here we're going to be going around a hairpin, and we got a couple of pictures here that the camera doesn't pick it up as well as the photographer does. You stay on the outside, you go off camber, you can go toward the middle and put your tire in the center and stay flatter if you want. We're coming up on an area down here that is 90+ % of the time has no water in it. Today it has a lot of water and it's running pretty hard. Matter of fact, we went through this. It's the first time I'd ever seen more than a trickle or just a few spots of water that weren't even moving. This is a really lot of water in this today. A lot of times I skip right over that because there's nothing there to look at. And there's a mud hole on the other side. I don't know if I showed that or not, but we'll show this from a couple different perspectives. And you can see there's a pretty good bit of water in there. I mean, it's not up to the bumper or anything, but knowing it's usually dry, that's a lot of water. And this is the mud hole on the other side. It's usually always full of water. And it's a place we stopped at, and we got a couple of pictures. We're getting ready to cross the bridge here on the wooden bridge on New Virginia Ridge Road. It has water running over part of it today, actually. So when we get down here, when the rear camera kicks in, you'll be able to see that. We got pictures of a lot of people crossing, and we included a bunch of those. My wife takes the pictures, so we were ahead of a lot of folks. We weren't able to get the ones in front of us, obviously, but we did get pictures of the folks behind us. And you can see the water. I'm not sure you can see it on the camera here. Yeah, there it is, running over the bridge part of it. And I have a rear camera video coming up. This is the left front wheel first. And then the rear camera, you can see the water a whole lot better. There it is right there. Ohio River four-wheeler's been taking care of this bridge and keeping it repaired. There will be supposedly a permanent solution at some point in the future when all the counties can agree, and that usually takes a while. So I don't know when it's going to happen. It's supposed to happen at some point. We'll just have to see. Until then, local clubs maintain. That's what your dues go for, what the raffles go for when you do the events. Maintaining these things. And here we are after we came off the bridge. We're going to go down this hill here. There's some mud ruts that are getting a little worse over time. At one time they had smoothed this out, but like most of the time it comes back. It's just not as bad as it was before they smoothed it out. You can go to the pasture side down this hill and avoid a lot of it. I just usually go through it. It's not that bad. Again, I'm on 33s here. 3 1/4 inch lift. And here you can kind of see that from behind a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can see where I dropped into that one, and there's another one I dropped into. And you can see where it's a little smoother on the screen there on that left side if you want to get further over to that side and avoid most of that. But it's not very bad, and it's downhill. And we're coming out of New Virginia here, going up the hill. It's mostly smooth. There's a few rocks, there's a few small ruts, and you have to watch out for developing washouts as well in a few spots. And sometimes this mud can be pretty slick, especially if you don't have mud tires. All terrains will work most of the time, but we have seen situations where it can be pretty slick. I think I had a previous video where I had somebody behind me that had a little trouble with it, and we thought we were going to have to hook a line to him, but he got out of it. There's a little slick spot right there. As far as I know, nobody had any trouble on this day. So we're coming up to the top here, and coming out of this, there's a few little rocks, a few little things here and there to navigate around. None of them are very hard. If you're not sure, ask somebody. The best thing to do is put your tire on the biggest rock so you go over it a lot smoother. Sometimes that seems counterintuitive, but it seems to work the best. There's a little drop here. You might see it better like that. There's a couple of those. A couple of rocks to climb. Alright, we're all the way out now, up on Blacktop. This is New Virginia Ridge Road, the paved piece of it. There's a couple of farms up here, and we're going out here to Highway 52. We're going to make a left on Highway 52, and we're going to go down to a park and we'll have lunch. This park has restrooms, park benches, a pavilion, and toys for kids. It's a nice little place to stop if anybody wants to. It's a good place. We try to stop every time in between runs. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this. This is the end of part 1. We're going to be starting part 2. It'll be available soon. Watch for it. Hope everybody enjoyed this. Come back for part 2.